For 2 weeks in a row, the grand old Fox brought in less viewers than CNN and MSNBC. CNN was a million viewers better than Fox, while MSNBC did something like 800,000. And a closer and longer look reveals that things have been going downhill for Fox. Since the election, average viewership is down by 20%. That's gotta hurt all the way to London. Fox News has been playing footsie with facts and opinion for a long time. They have successfully managed to blur the gap between the two. So much so that it is so hard to differentiate between both of them, oftentimes leaving us confused whether we are watching a movie channel or a news channel. But hey, who cares as long as people are watching? While opinion hosts are making the millions, the Murdochs are raking in the billions. It wasn't personal, was it? Or maybe it got personal for a select few, and a select few within the select few would have got some form of settlement for their misery. One of the reasons why Fox has been so successful for such a long period was there weren't any other media house in the country that became the go-to messaging place for Republicans of all varieties. The power was so pervasive that has left me wondering if it is the Republican leaders who are setting the terms of engagement in the Senate and the Congress, or if it was the foxhole. Fox was not only able to influence political discourse in the country, it was able to repeatedly push other media houses to follow its lead. Think Benghazi. Remember the thousands of hours of airtime Fox had invested in stirring things up for the Benghazi inquiry? It was non-stop coverage as if the world was going to end without it. Now compare that to how Fox handled the Benghazi story and how it is now covering the Capitol riots. You can notice a sea of difference. Now they look rudderless. Fox did what they can to twist the riots. Some hosts took the line that the rioters are not Trump supporters, a line that fell flat after hours and hours of video evidence and the kind of people who are being continuously arrested. Benghazi was a completely different story. Fox hammered the issue so much that other networks felt the need to jump in, and once everybody was in, the story got amplified with Fox in the driver's seat. That kind of agenda setting ability is what makes them the undisputable king. I should say what made them the undisputable king of ratings for years in a row. Give them a stone, they had the resources to make a mountain out of it. But all good things have to come to an end, and Fox ran into Donald Trump, the man who changed everything that he came in close contact with. Trump has pushed the Republican Party so far to the right that the regular keep drilling it as low and as hard as possible tactic has started to fail miserably in the face of mounting evidence. Oh, we are not racist tactic doesn't fly anymore. Hosts cannot come out on live TV and ask, what is white nationalism? They just can't. Not after January 6th riots. How much further right can you turn when you are already at the end of the road? Trump has reduced the discourse to such a low level that there is no more space to go further lower. Post November 3rd, Fox tried to double down on the election fraud claims, but what message can you deliver when court after court kept rejecting these claims as nonsense? They still tried, but it only brought legal threats to their door. Lou Dubs was forced to debunk his own theories. Imagine bringing in someone to your own talk show and ask him to debunk things that you yourself have said in the past. It was ugly. The response Maria Bartiromo got after the way she handled Trump's interview would have made her clearly aware that she will never get back to the status she once enjoyed across the board. It must have been one miserable day after another one in the foxhole since the election. Then there was this multi-million-dollar settlement with Seth Rich's family, the 27-year-old Democratic aide whose unsolved murder led to many conspiracy theories in 2016. The NY Times reported in May 2017, Fox News published an article on its website by the reporter Malia Zimmerman that suggested, citing unnamed sources, that Mr. Rich was killed in retaliation for leaking damaging DNC emails to WikiLeaks in the lead up to the 2016 presidential election. The Fox News host Sean Hannity repeatedly promoted the false theory on his prime time program, and now they have paid $1 million price for that act. This year, Fox went after Smartmatic and Dominion to further Donald Trump's election fraud theories, and the legal hassle for Fox and other conservative news outlets have just begun. Dominion has sued Sidney Powell for $1.2 billion, and one conservative outlet after another is either issuing a retraction or bending over backwards to avoid a court battle. But there is no guarantee that all of them will escape scrutiny in the courtroom. So Fox has no space to run further to the right. The election is over, there is no election fraud theory to operate on, and Biden will be sworn in tomorrow. Fox should have been in the driver's seat controlling the discussion around Trump's second impeachment. But Trump rioters, the mob made an unholy mess on January 6th. That has left Fox literally speechless to mount an offensive against Trump's second impeachment. The Daily Beast reported that Rupert Murdoch has become so concerned due to the ratings disaster that he has now become more hands-on with day-to-day management of Fox News. It's quite possible that we are seeing the start of the next multi-year news cycle, one where Fox struggles endlessly to stay relevant or either gets stuck at the bottom of the pile. Their instinct will be to go after the Biden administration and attack every policy proposal. But every time they mount an offensive, the other side, the media mob, as some of their hosts will keep calling, will be laughing at them from the other side. The way the conservative line of attack failed when they tried to twist the blame of Capitol riots on Antifa is the clearest sign that the right-wing spin factory has started to collapse. How do you galvanize support against impeachment when more than half the people in the country think it's the right thing to do, and when more than 15% of Republicans denounce the riots that happened in Washington, D.C.? How do you drum up support for the Republican Party when its leaders are still struggling to say that there was nothing wrong with the election, that there was no fraud? Just like how some portion of the right wing still truly believes that something is horribly wrong with the country, there are millions and millions of Americans who have started to say that the enemy is within us. 7 out of 10 Americans said that the US democracy is under threat, and more than half of them believe that the enemy is amongst us. The days when Fox hosts kept calling the media his mob and kept saying mainstream media with a sarcastic tone is over, because people, a vast majority of them, maybe in the order of 80 million, have the clearest evidence about who the mob is, who created them, and how misinformation keeps seeping into our collective conscience. If the media gets any blame for what happened, you all know which channel will run away with the Best Lead Actor Oscar. The rise of Newsmax and OAN has effectively cut off Fox from moving further to the right, while the way the center of the country has galvanized has started to choke Fox's stranglehold at the top of the ratings. Fox's drop from the top does not look like a trend that will stop anytime soon. Maybe the time has come for Fox to reduce their opinion and increase the facts. The non-stop effort to ridicule anyone who does not support their view has come back to bite the Fox. And this time, Fox has no space to run away from the message created. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please subscribe.